American football. I mean, I've seen this over time, and I actually felt like I could play the NFL, but nah, I can't delve into that kind of career. No, it's not my calling. Now, let's talk about American football. And
Yes.
we've seen a couple of Nigerian players who featured in. I was actually surprised that Nigerians do play American football. Tell us more about this.
There are 1,000,001 Nigerian, footballers with Nigerian descent that play in the NFL, the National Football League, which is the American football as we know it. It's a physical sport, you know, so...
you look like one of them.
I wish, you know, the pay that they command is up there. So it's a very physical sport, and because of that, the entire world that are attracted to football, soccer, you know, get to shy away from it, you know. So it's now unique to America, but you know, now what the NFL is doing is they're attracting players from, you know, rugby, you know, for them to come play. And like I said, you have, you know, Nigerians, Nelson Agolo that plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. You have Jay Ajayi that played for the Philadelphia Eagles last year. He doesn't have a team right now, as far as I know. You have David Njoku, who plays tight end for the Cleveland Browns. So a whole number of them, they've been doing well. They've won championships. I think it's a sport that will, if we're talking about it, it will take all day. But I think it's a sport that has a future out of the United States. They've been, you know, moving games to the UK and other parts. I think they've played in Mexico. So, and I heard that Nigeria sometimes play what they call flag football. It's not the one you hit. You actually play it some other way. So it has future out of the United States, and hopefully we'll get to Nigeria and we get to enjoy the explosive nature of it. It's a very interesting game. I'm a big fan.
Wow. Now, I've gone to watch rugby at the National Stadium, and to be very honest, I really didn't enjoy watching that. But I've seen a couple of NFL games being played on TV. I know you've had first-hand experience, you've seen it live and all, but I've seen it on TV, and I wonder, is this not, in as much as these guys have a lot of they guard themselves a whole lot, but is it not a dangerous sport that people get to probably twist ankles or break their necks?
It's a very dangerous sport, and over the years, the league, the NFL has worked to improve it and not make people get injured. The number one injury that people get is brain injury, you know, because you get hit in the head. They've rebuilt the helmets. You know, now you don't get as much CTE. There's a disease called CTE. Actually, the person that discovered that CTE is a Nigerian doctor in the United States. There was a documentary about him. So there are, of course, with other sports that has, you know, injuries. There's also injuries that are peculiar to American football. But as time goes on, they are changing the rules. They are making, you know, they are penalizing players that hit the way they're not supposed to hit. There are places you're not supposed to hit. I know you're not supposed to hit with your head. Head-to-head collision is not. It's, you know, incurs penalty and fines and everything. So with time, you know, with the equipments that they are coming up with and with the rules, I think it will get, you know, better and better. And one more thing. I know for sure up to a certain age, as far as the United States is concerned, kids are not allowed to play with, you know, hit-to-hit. They might play flag football and stuff like that. Up to a certain age is when you can start hitting, right? So it's a dangerous sport per se. You know, people have been paralyzed. People have taken their lives because of their brain damage and everything, but it has improved more than what it used to be. Right.
Okay, I wish you could actually see some of the pictures of the Nigerians that got to feature for in the NFL. They actually feature in the NFL, and I would talk about them so you can know that these guys are Nigerians. In case you see them on TV again, that you can actually recognize them as Nigeria. We have, he mentioned about 3 players. There's Jay Ajayi, there's Nelson Agolo, and of course David Njoku. Those guys actually feature in the NFL. Yes, this is Jay Ajayi. Now this is Nelson. This is Nelson Agolo. Yeah. Yes. And David Njoku also. What team does David Njoku play for? Yeah, this is David.
He plays
Njoku
for the Cleveland Browns. He's a very good tight end. The Nelson that you just showed, last 2 years won the what they call the Super Bowl. It's like the championship. He was a very good. His position is called the wide receiver. He's a very good wide receiver. Dude can catch anything.
Wow.
He is. So, and another thing I wanted to touch is the charity side of this Nigerian NFL players. Some of them come into the country. I know we don't shine the light because it's not soccer or any other sport that we used to. They come into the country and do some charitable works, and I know some of them have brought in doctors to treat patients for no cost and stuff like that. So I just wanted to shine the light on that, other than the fact that they play very good and very talented. You have many of them in the college football as well, before they, of course, move on to the NFL. So
now this sport, is it something that can, yes, it's called American football.
Right.
The word American. But is this something that you think can thrive in Africa, in Nigeria to be precise?
Right, I think it can. If we play rugby in Nigeria, I don't see why we can't play American football in Nigeria. It's something that has to be worked on. I mean, there are rules that you have to, of course, learn about.
Yeah.
It would take time to set up the league as well. Like I said, I know for a fact that there are some local, I know here in Lagos there are people that play what they call a flag football. I think they have organizations and stuff like that. So for you to play a sport, you have to attract fans. So you have to educate the fans on the rules, and the rules are not that hard. My mom came to the United States, and within a month she became a fan of one of the of the teams. She didn't know anything about it, but now she even knows more than I do. So it will get there if we develop interest, and I think if the players of Nigerian descent that also play in these teams can come out and help push it, I think it's something that will be, that can thrive, not just in Nigeria, in other parts of Africa.
Now, because one of the reasons why I asked is most of these other sports, they complain about equipment, training equipment, facilities for them to thrive in the sport. Now, rugby is some people think it's a complicated sport, because look, for you to find the attires to wear and everything. Now, you're not bringing American football that has to do with a lot of guarding. The helmet, it has to be original. Quote, original, the helmet, so you don't hurt yourself. And I know they have this shoulder pads and everything. It will take a lot of money. It will. Investment. I think probably the private sector will have to look into this to get in more support, because if you leave it for the government, I don't think anything will be done. Yes,
I think, like you just mentioned, the private sector and brands will have to get into it. And also, I think if we actually push for the NFL to have a game here in Nigeria, I'm saying Nigeria because I'm being biased with Nigeria, because they can also push it to other African countries. If we push for the NFL to have a game, say, we'll call it NFL Africa, just like you have NBA without borders in Africa or whatnot, I think that will help. You say you take it to one of the big stadiums, say in Akwa Ibom or Asaba or whatever, because the demarcations or the measurements of the pitch is, or we'll call it field, is the same thing. It's almost the same thing as a soccer. Yeah, football. Yes. So if they can push for the NFL to have a game here, maybe an exhibition game, right? Maybe use it to raise money for charity or something. From there, people will start seeing, knowing about the Tom Brady's of the world, or the Odell Beckham, who is not just a football player, he's also, very popular in social media and all whatnot. So with that, it will not just help with the awareness of the game, it can also help with Nigeria's economy, because now you have, the international scene looking into Nigerian sports and all whatnot.
Okay, we're looking forward to that one, and hoping that the government and, of course, the administrators, the Ministry of Sports and Youth Development, can actually look into this and see how we can give more support to other sports, not just football.